Hi S2K and welcome to Cooking with Mrs. Camilleri. As you can see, Mr. Camilleri has made a very nice chef's hat for me. So I look the part. Let's have a go of making some lemonade scones. All right, I've got my oven set to 200 degrees Celsius and I'm going to go through our ingredients. I'll also post them on Google Classroom so that you can have a look there. I have my 1 cup of lemonade. I have cream and self-raising flour, and I've just got a little bit of milk for the end so that they can come out nice and golden. All right, so our first step is to just mix the 3 ingredients, lemonade, cream, and self-raising flour together in a bowl until it's just combined. We don't want to work our hands into it too much, otherwise our scones are going to come out really dense. So the less time handling it, the better. We're going to start by measuring out 3.5 cups of flour. Now, my measuring cup over here is 2 cups here. So I'm going to measure to the 2 cups and then I'm going to go the second time to the 1.5 cups. Let's get started. That line, excellent. There's 2 cups, now I've just got 1.5 cups to go. We've got our 3.5 cups of flour in. I'm going to pour in the 1 cup of lemonade and I need to measure out 1 cup of thickened cream. There we go. Make sure it gets right to the top. Perfect. And pour that in. Now I'm going to use my spatula to just get out that last bit so that we have the full 1 cup. Now when we mix it, you just want to get it so that there's no dry flour left. So you want to mix in all the wet ingredients, but once you see that the flour is combined, that's enough. You want to leave it there. So I've mixed my dough so that it's just combined. It should be fairly sticky, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to turn out the dough onto a lightly floured surface. I've just put a chopping board here to save mess, but if you do it onto the bench, that's also fine. Sprinkle out some flour. This prevents it from sticking to the bench. And we are going to turn out the dough onto that floured surface. Now again, we don't want to touch the dough too much because that's going to be what makes our scones dense and harder to eat. Make sure you've washed your hands. I just washed my hands before this. Make sure you've washed them because you are going to be kneading it just 3 to 5 times. So I'm just going to bring my dough together, pull it over the top of it and bring it down with my palms. Over the top, bring it down with my palms. All right, that's 3 times. I'm going to stick to that, but if you think yours needs a little bit more to come together fully, then that's all fine. I'm then going to press out my dough just into a circle type shape. If it's not perfect, that's all fine because you're going to use a cookie cutter in a moment to get those round shapes. Now, I don't have a cookie cutter at home, so I am using a cleaned out empty tin. A cup would also work if you also don't have a cookie cutter. Now, it does make it easier if you just put some flour down and you just gently flour the edge of the tin so that it doesn't stick to that. Your dough, I forgot to say before, your dough, you probably want it about 2.5 centimeters tall to get a decent size of the scones. So what you need to do is you need to push it down. Now, I've been told it's best not to twist it. So just bring it straight back up. If it doesn't come up, that's fine. You will be able to get rid of the excess. Push it down, make sure it goes right to the bottom and bring it up. Do this all the way around so that you get as many scones as possible out of this first batch of dough. Okay, I've done my first batch of dough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my baking trays that I've just put baking paper on top so that it doesn't stick. If you don't have baking paper at home, butter or oil would also work fine. Grab all the outside edges of your dough that haven't been cut so that it leaves the discs that will become your scones. You then need to place them on your baking tray. Some people like to put their scones close together so that you pull them apart. Doesn't matter, whatever you would like to do is fine. They won't rise too much, so they can be closer together than if you were making cookies, but you do still need a little bit of space so that they can get that little bit bigger. I've done my first lot. Now I need to bring all of the scraps back into a ball and push them down flat, again about 2.5 centimeters tall. And do your next round of cutting out your circles. Push it down, bring it straight back up. I've cut out all of my scones. I've got 13 here. If you have between 10 and 13, then that's probably meaning that you've got a decent height and a fine size. You might have a smaller cookie cutter and that's not a problem. Now, if you've got a pastry brush at home or any sort of brush that you cook with, use that here, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to use a spoon with a little bit of milk and just put a little drop on the top of each scone. I'm just going to use the back of the spoon to spread it out. All right, I'm putting my scones in the oven now. They will be in there for about 12 minutes and pull them out when they are golden. All right, so my scones have been in for about 15 minutes and they're looking golden and ready. So I'm going to take them out and put them on a surface where a hot tray can be. So I'm just putting mine on top of the oven and I'm going to cover them with a tea towel, which helps keep them nice and moist and delicious and prevents them from getting too dry. So I'm just going to get out a couple of tea towels. Once they've cooled underneath that tea towel, cut it open and feel free to put your favorite topping on. My preference is butter and jam, but if you have some cream as well, go for it. It is delicious. And enjoy!